I have to tell you more about my life in art. Do you know what it's like to slave away in the trenches of the art world? Decorating dentists' waiting rooms and lawyers' offices and whatnot, only for your talent to finally be validated after decades with a day job? It's a heartwarming story. This woman, Olivia Supine, was a gallery manager. She happened to be in a podiatrist's office with bunion trouble, where one of my works was hanging on the wall, and it spoke loudly to her. She took the trouble to ask where it came from, and I got the phone call that changed my life, at least for a while. Olivia was connected, to put it mildly. Soon I was taking meetings with young art patrons looking for places to park their money, and every idea I pitched to them they went for. An abstract film dripping with color. A gigantic sculpture that could almost touch the sky. And my most outrageous yet, with a deep bow to the LA scene, a Liberace-themed walk-through installation. The projects were all in development when I had my first big show at the prestigious Four Wall Gallery, which was incredible, and the patrons showered me with praise. The sky was the limit. Until the day one of them accused me of faking a portfolio of abstract studies. Didn't give any reason for why she thought that, but the others believed her. Then another one freaked out over one of my big works called It's Curtains for You. Apparently it scared the bejesus out of her. She called me a limb of Satan, said I'd never paint in this town again, and so, no joke intended, it was curtains for me as a serious artist. Olivia stopped returning my calls, but lucky for me, I got back on the office and waiting room production line. Began designing home goods, too. And there I am to this day. Probably better off away from those greedy young tax dodgers. Who knows? I could have ended up in the slammer myself.